Hello. Long time no see. So I don't know what I've come here to do. I was told to call this just me. But why? Mhm. So we're gonna allow the Most High to guide this here reading. Just me. What do you want me to do with that? So it's not about me, it's about self. Okay. So it's just everybody, each person. Okay. This is definitely a spirit called reading. So it's about self. Okay, so what does God want us to know? What do you want us to know? I just discovered some new music, okay? I've been having fun with it. I know they're not new music, but they're new to me. Some Janelle Monáe and some Cleo Soul and some, who else? Is that Childish Gambino? The Good Vibes. What's that dude called? He sings Lost in My Boots. It's beautiful to see young people singing and talking sense, you know what I'm saying? I'm quite impressed. Yeah. There's hope for us yet. Yeah. The lighting on this other phone is absolutely terrible. But my lives have been acting weird lately, so I'm recording on 2 phones just in case. Oh me, oh me, oh me, oh man. Oh me, oh me, oh me. So this is a message to each one of us about self. Okay? It's all about paying attention to you at this time, which is always welcome, you know. Because, you know, I find that people tend to be able to love others better than they love themselves. Isn't that weird? It's very strange. It's, like I always say, it's kind of noble, but it's kind of stupid at the same time. Because if you neglect yourself, you'll be feeling drained after a while. And it's like you won't be wanting to give as you normally would. Because you won't have it to give. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have needs too. You know? But we tend to go hard for those we love, but not really so much for ourselves a lot of the time. And that's not very bright. So God wants us to take some time at this time to pay attention to ourselves. Give yourself the love that you need. I heard a quote from someone who who heard a quote from someone else who said, treat yourself like somebody you love. See how as soon as somebody we love have a problem, we're ready to come up with solutions to fix it, or if they feel tired, we're willing to be there to make their life, easier to manage. And yeah, treat yourself like somebody you love. Spend some of your money on yourself. Create a quiet place for yourself as well. So it's like in your home, create a space and let everybody in your house know, when you see me go in this spot from this time till that time, please don't disturb me. Don't disturb me, because we need to recharge. Okay? Unless it's an emergency, you need to set some ground rules that you should not be disturbed. Hi. There's actually, I could actually see one text, somebody said hi. I would love to be able to see you guys. Like, how did you get in? They don't usually let people in to tell me or talk to me, or, usually it's just me here. My thing is saying 0 more times. But I know it's not just me here, it's a lot of people. I know that. Because I have my deck that I use to check. Because it's not about the glory for me, but it's nice to know that I'm actually reaching people, I don't know, if I could see people's messages, I probably won't reply to a lot of them, because there's always those haters, you know what I'm saying, in the comments and things like that. When I do my readings, the best thing I can suggest for you guys to do is let the reading mean what it means to you. Don't pay attention to the comments. Don't pay attention to how other people receive the message, because it's a personal relationship with the divine, okay? And everybody's on a different path. So I can make one statement and 50 million of you will receive it or perceive it in a different way because of how your life is set up, how your personality is set up, and that's completely okay. The problem occurs when this person is trying to make the message fit them the way that it fit this person. See, you come from two completely different walks of life. There's a culture difference, life experiences, and therefore what we choose to hold as our our philosophical makeup, okay, that has a lot to do with how we receive the messages. Okay, so don't be moved by the comments of others. Okay, if people want to be negative, they have a right to be negative, and if somebody wants to be positive, they have the right to be positive as well. Okay, everybody's story is different. So let's see what God wants to tell us. But it's nice to see somebody say hi. Yes, it's taking this long to align these cards. Let's just go with it. It's cool. There's a method to God's madness all the time. So one thing we can learn from this damn shuffle is patience. Okay? Patience. I talked to you guys about the clock. We are on 2 clocks. So there are 2 clocks. There's a divine clock, divine timing, and there is the man clock, which we want everything instantly. We try to speed up things, and when things don't happen in the time that we want it to, then we get frustrated because we're mostly programmed to man's clock, okay? Man's calendar. But God does things slowly a lot of the times. So it would behoove us to slow down as well, try and Try and acknowledge God's timing. Okay? Try and acknowledge God's timing. So Amanda, you're the only one. You're the only one who can't get in to say anything on the live. Oh me, oh me, oh me, oh my. So yeah, people, we need to slow down. That's why I was saying the room. You need to have your own space in your own home where you to get a break from your family, because you cannot always be giving and not recharging. Okay, so you need to set a space in a corner. If you don't have a big home, set a space in a corner. When mommy or daddy is over in this corner, it means please do not disturb. Okay, and it's a great way to teach your children about having quiet time. It's a great way to teach your children about how adulthood isn't all that it's cracked up to be. It's not just about having the freedom to do what you like when you like. It is also about having to do things that you don't want to do when you don't want to do them. Okay? And therefore, because of all these demands on ourselves emotionally, intellectually, physically, socially, sometimes it's good to recharge. So call the spot whatever you want, but that's your do not disturb spot. Okay, unless it's an emergency. And my daughter, when I told her about this idea, she was saying she would even make a list of things that are considered emergencies, because what other people see as an emergency is not necessarily an emergency to you. So I thought that was quite clever. I wouldn't go that far personally, but then I don't have children and whatnot around. But then, if I had children around, my children would be like soldiers. They would know not to disturb me when I say don't disturb me. Because children will take you over, okay? If you don't put down yourself and be as adamant and be as direct with children, or they know how to be adamant with you, I'll tell you that. Some of us can learn a thing or two from children and how they dedicate themselves to getting what they want sometimes. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being certain, nothing wrong with saying, yeah, this is what I said and this is what I mean. Okay? But it's just about finding that middle ground between you being respected without the other person feeling violated. Because children, they feel violated. They're just mini people like us. Okay? They're mini people. On a side note, I'm being asked to tell you guys about children asking why. There should not be a problem with your child asking you why. It's actually very healthy for you to discuss things with your children. A child who asks why is an intelligent child. And for you to give them the whys or the answers to their question, it will make them even wiser. Now, people who tend to have a problem with children asking why is people who don't know the answers. And you shouldn't, because if you don't know, you just don't know. Okay? Do not be ashamed to tell your child, I really don't know. I've never taken the time to think about that. Okay? They'll understand that too, and you never know. They might be able to come up with the answer for you. So don't underestimate how your children can actually help you to make life easier in this world. If you treat your children like they're infants, they will forever remain infants. But if you start training them to become independent adults, then they'll be able to be of use to you long before majority of children can do that. Okay? And people will see your child and say, oh, he's so grown up or she's so grown up. It's because you communicate with your child. You give your child the respect that they deserve as a person, not minding their age. Okay? Because that's a trap that trips us up a lot of the times. We watch people and their age and think, oh, I'm older than you, I must be smarter than you. Really? That's not always the case. Age is nothing but a number. So, yeah. If you can tell your children why, especially if you're punishing them, it is very good to make your children understand why they're being punished. But when it's just on a random thing where they just want to know about something, it's good to tell them as well. You know? It's like sending them to read a book. It's just that you're their book. You're their Google at that time. Or you could send them to ask Google too. That'll give them some training so that they can use the iPads for something else other than watching videos. Actually go do some research, you know? Like I said, if you treat your child like an infant, they will forever remain an infant. And if you treat them like you're getting them prepared for adulthood, then they'll be much more developed than the average child. It's just natural. Okay, what you put in is what you get out. So God wanted me to mention that. It is a very interesting reading. Yeah, this is definitely a spirit called reading. Don't hesitate to ask your child why as well. So answering their whys, it opens the door for them to now start communicating with you from their perspective. Okay. Asking them why, it motivates them to think. And by you answering them and telling them, you know, I never thought about that, then at least when they don't know something, they will know how to say, you know, I don't know. I just feel like, you know. Yeah, don't treat your children like they're fools. They're not fools at all. Not even a little bit. Our children are fools only if we train them to be fools. Yeah, getting a workout. Three more times and finally the deck is ready. So I guess God has brought out all the side messages. Alright, let's see what's at the bottom of the deck after all of that. Factories, making. So factories is all about produce, what we produce, what we make. Now, hold on, let me open one of these windows because it's hot. Alright, so, yeah. So it's all about what we're making now. Another thing I could teach you guys is about how we're all alchemists. Whether we want to acknowledge it or not, we're all alchemists. Everything that we do Every thought that we give life to or entertain, we're making something. We're always making something. It's about action and reaction. Okay, so we have to be careful whatever we give life to, really. Even thoughts. What thoughts? Because to me, sometimes thoughts just come to you. But do you entertain them? That matters. Okay? So hang on. My hand. Now I need to massage it. So yeah, we're all alchemists. We're always making something. All day, every day. We're making something. So if we choose to harness negative thoughts, we're making a bad day. We're making a bad mood. Okay? If we choose to see things from a positive perspective, we're creating a good day. We're creating a good mood. Because a good day and a bad day doesn't really a good day and a bad day isn't really about what happens in the day. It's about how you react to what happens in the day. Yeah, because we can't control what happens in the day, and dumb shit happen all the time. So it's like, then every day would be a bad day. But it's not the day, it's your reaction to the day. It's your reaction to what happened, it's your reaction to what people say. It's how you choose to feel and think about what people say to you, what people try to do to you, or what people do to you. Okay? So we have a lot more power than we choose to believe when it comes to having a good day or a bad day. We choose to make. Okay? Alright, so let's see what the Most High wants to tell us. And what else? Because like just now I'm dealing the cards, I can feel an energy trying to block what I'm trying to do. I didn't complain. I just breathe different. Alright, let's see. Okay. So, we have tribe, land, and continent to come out first. And then we have sun. And then we have pollute. Interesting. So your tribe are people who are like you. Let's break the message down. At the bottom of the deck we have physique. So our physique is our makeup, okay? You could see it as a physical thing, but in this sense, I feel that this is a spiritual message. So this is talking about our psychological self, okay? More than our physiological self. The next we have C. C is talking about crime, okay? And then we have God made tsunami. So that means a lot of crime. That's the underlying issue. Our current state is one of sadness. But God has something to do with it. Let's read on with the underlying issue. So God made tsunami. Man made famine. So we are the cause of our lack. A famine is a, oh okay, well here come God with the rain. Okay, all right. I don't need to see any more of that. Okay, so we got invisible. So there's a blessing coming that you don't see. Okay, so it's like we've made a mess of our psychological self, and God has come now to clean it up. Hence, all those things that I was saying at the beginning of the reading. So you got a lot of hints about different things: child raising, um, your personal space. You know, yeah. So those are jewels for somebody. Okay. All right. So let's see what these cards are that came out now. Okay. So it's about the people that we choose to be around. It's about the things that we choose to pay attention to. Our tribe and our land. So your land is where you put your feet on, isn't it? So if your land is where you put your feet on, it's where you stand. Okay? It makes up your whole continent. Okay? So this is translating to mean that the people that you surround yourself by and the things that you choose to believe and the things that you choose to practice and stuff like that, they make up your whole. Now it's being revealed, the sun, that we've gone wrong, the sun and pollute. So now we're seeing that we made some wrong steps, which is natural because life doesn't come with a manual. Yeah. So one should not be too hard on themselves. Okay. We didn't get no instructions, and our people before us, they didn't have no instructions either. And this brings me to another point that I've noticed. It's easy to be angry at our parents for not raising us right, but can we really blame them? Because the same way that we are surrounded by different people going through different experiences, and these things make up who we are and therefore determine how we raise our children. Just know that our children are going to grow up and have some qualms with how we raised them as well. So get ready for it. But at the end of the day, you are doing your best according to the knowledge that you have, according to the powers within you. You're doing your best. Okay? It doesn't matter if how you make your money is less than savory, is what you know. For example, let's use that for example. Okay? It's what you know, it's what resources you have, and you need to provide. So you're doing what you need to do. If your child grow up and talk negatively about you because of it, it will break your heart. But they won't understand until it happens to them. You see, not everybody's in the same position to make life work in an idealistic way. Life is not perfect. Sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do. We find ourselves in positions that we would much prefer not to be in, because life throws things at you. But it's all about how we choose to respond. So if your child has qualms about how you raised them, don't take it to heart. They have children too. Don't worry, they'll get their day. And you see, that talks about God's timing. So this is why I'm saying you have to slow down your clock at some points. Because for them to be able to see things from your perspective as a parent, they have to have their children and see how hard it is to raise children, how hard it is to maintain a balance between work and home life. Okay? And how you have to be raising children even while you're still raising your damn self. Why? Because your parents before you, they weren't very intelligent when it comes to creating you into a wholesome being. You understand what I'm saying? So it trickles down, and yeah, children need to come to that understanding, but they can only do so if when we're talking to them, you speak to them like you're speaking to someone that you respect. Do not do it while you're shouting. That's why it's good to just share how you grew up with your children. Let them understand you from, where you're coming from, so that they'll know Yeah, son, yes, daughter, I'm not perfect. I didn't start out perfect. My parents didn't start out perfect. Start telling them stories about how your parents, how they grew up fucked up and, you know, very lacking and stuff like that. And it's a cycle. But the good thing about this day and age is we're coming to an understanding about where we are lacking, hence the God made rain. And it's invisible right now. You don't see it, but people like me see it. Okay? People like me see how God is now in the midst or in the mix. God is now bringing certain conversations to the forefront. God is opening up the lines of communication between everybody. So social media is a great tool, and we can use it for nonsense, or we can use it to help make our lives a better one. And I come across some videos and I can see that people are actually using it to have sensible conversations, trying to figure this shit out. You know, like, help us to get to know ourselves and get to know the world that we're living in and where we're coming from and stuff like that. So it's happening. Okay, so we're realizing that we're polluted, we're jacked up, we're messed up. Okay, but God is coming in to fix it, and that's the message. That's what God wants you to know right now. God is, and information, it's all about information. Okay, seek knowledge. Knowledge is power. And like I said, when it comes to communication, it's good to learn how to communicate. So don't fear people asking you why. Even you need to ask yourself sometimes, why? You know, it's not okay to just be doing things. It's good to understand yourself. It's good to understand yourself and why you do certain things. You won't know everything. Some things that we do and some things that we say and do only because it feels right to us. Like, that's how I felt at the time, you know? So be true about that too, because it will teach you something about the self. Okay, that's your intuition guiding you when you say and do things and you don't really have the reasoning as to why. It just felt right in your spirit. Okay, so don't hesitate to admit when you don't know something. Don't hesitate to admit, yeah, I messed up. Okay, because the truth shall set us free. Okay, and try to speak to your loved ones instead of arguing with them, because when we start to argue, it shuts us down. We don't want to listen to each other. Okay, so here's one thing that I've always said would be a good thing. See, like how I make these card games, you can make a card game yourself and have like a family night where you give your children the right to write questions that they want to ask you, and you write some questions that you want to ask them. You write some topics that you want to speak about and stuff like that, and let them know what family night is all about. It's gonna be all about getting to know each other, seeing where each other coming from, understanding how each other see the world. It's gonna help you guys to grow closer together and help you guys to teach each other. Because like I said, don't hesitate that you can don't fool yourself into thinking that you can't learn anything from children. Children are not fools. They are absolutely not stupid. You need to give them a chance and they'll show you. Because they know how to manipulate us when they want cookies. They know how to sneak out and do this and do that. They're not fools. If you're smart enough to do that, you're smart enough to hold a good conversation so I can understand what's going on with you and so that you can understand what's going on with me. And that will create more harmony in the household. Okay? Let your children know life isn't perfect. And that's the reason why everything is so jacked up. Everybody's just trying to find their way. And they too are gonna try to find their way, try to understand. So this forcing culture on them and forcing tradition on them and forcing God on them and forcing the devil on them, forcing, yeah, those are counterproductive ways of interacting with each other. Okay, just because you grew up that way doesn't mean that your children should as well, especially if it has not worked the best for you. Remember how these same rules and traditions and stuff made you feel. Okay, and why would you want to impose that on your future generations? How will you ever make things better if you keep repeating the same things that did not bring you satisfaction or progress in the first place? It won't work. For you to have a different outcome, you have to put in some different coordinates. You have to try something different. So let it be known to your family that life is a thing that is a mystery. Madonna. Life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. That is true too. Everyone must stand alone, because at the end of the day, we're not always there to protect our children. Our parents are not always there to protect us. It's a good song. I hear you call my name, and it feels like home. I need to understand that part from a psychological point of view. But them two first lines, they're definitely true. Those are good lessons to learn. So that's what Spirit called me to say to you guys. Ooh, yeah, at the bottom of the deck here we have government. So government is about how we control, how we conduct, how we navigate, how we construct. Okay, think about the government and what it is. It's like, it's supposed to be a safety net. It's supposed to be a guide. It's supposed to be, like a carer. So don't think of the government as it is. Think of what it's supposed to be. Okay. So yeah, it's all about how you manage yourself, your family, your work. Yeah, it's all about self. Start with self. Start opening up yourself to speaking the truth to yourself, and then speaking the truth to your children. If you don't know how, it always helps to pray. Okay, you ask for that guidance, you ask for that direction, so that you can get this thing rolling. Because a lot of people are sad because of bad relationships with their children, because of hard times at work and bad vibes between colleagues, and because of wanting things that life isn't ready to give to us yet, because we're on the wrong freaking clock. Okay, so take some time out, try and understand what you're doing, try and understand what this thing is, and allow your children to help you to figure out life. Because my daughter has taught me a lot, and I got 21 years of experience more than she does. And sometimes when she says something, I'm like, oh. And that's another thing too. Allow your children to be themselves. Don't try to make them into who you want them to be. Why? Because when you allow them to be their self, their perspective is like having a whole new perspective around you. And having different perspectives, it opens up your perception. So it makes you able to then weigh the different weigh the bits of information and decide what actually is and what isn't. Sometimes you don't get the answer, but at least you see things from a different perspective. Okay, so you know that your way of seeing things is not the only one in the world. Like, damn, I didn't know people think like that. Yeah. Okay, so we're hoping that this here reading helped you guys in some positive way. Let's try and make this world a better place. Alright, my dear. If we want change, we have to be the change. We have to start the ball rolling ourselves. And I do suggest we start with a prayer. So, we look forward to a better day once you put the work in for a better day. That's how life works. Okay? So, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, my darlings. Bye-bye.